She demanded I give her kid my new console. Because kids deserve joy. I 26M had just bought myself a brand new gaming console after months of saving, budgeting, and talking myself out of impulse purchases. I don't splurge often, so finally walking into a family gathering with something I was genuinely excited about felt like a small victory. I brought it only because my younger cousins wanted to test out a new co-op game after dinner. I set the box down next to my backpack, barely 5 minutes into being there, when my Aunt Emily, the reigning queen of entitlement, swooped in like a moth to a flame. Her eyes lit up, her 8-year-old son perked up, and before I could even say hello, he pointed at the console and shouted, "I want that." Emily gasped dramatically as if he had chosen a puppy from a shelter and said, "Oh perfect, you can give it to him." Kids deserve joy, she said it with the confidence of someone assigning chores, like it was a done deal. I laughed because I genuinely thought it was a joke. But when I didn't immediately hand it over, her expression shifted. "You're an adult," she said sharply. "You don't need toys. He'll appreciate it more than you ever will." I told her no, politely, thinking that would be the end of it. Instead, she gasped loud enough for half the room to hear and announced, "Wow. Some people really only think of themselves." The conversation around us slowed, people glanced over, then quickly went back to talking, clearly not wanting to get dragged in. Everyone knows how she is, but they also know challenging her is like kicking a beehive wearing flip-flops. Throughout dinner she kept up a steady stream of passive-aggressive commentary. "Some men stay boys forever," she said loudly as she passed the bread. "It's unattractive when people hoard things they don't need." At one point she actually whispered to her sister, "He's not even generous. What kind of man refuses a child?" I ignored it because arguing with her is like arguing with a brick wall that thinks it's a psychologist. Meanwhile, her son kept hovering around me, not even trying to be subtle. He kept glancing at my backpack, circling the room like he was waiting for an opening. I didn't think he'd actually do anything. I figured even he knew stealing from family was crossing a line. I underestimated him. During dessert, my cousin tapped my shoulder and quietly said, "Hey, I think he's going through your stuff." I rushed over to my backpack and there he was, kneeling beside it, zipper halfway open, looking like a raccoon caught in a trash can. When he saw me, he froze. Then Emily's voice cut through the room like a siren. "Why are you hovering over my child like that?" She stormed toward us and without asking a single question yelled, "Stop intimidating him. If you had just shared like a decent human being, he wouldn't feel so desperate." Desperate. She made it sound like he was stealing bread to survive, not a luxury gaming console. I told her calmly that he had no right to go through my belongings. She snapped back, "He's a kid. He doesn't understand boundaries." But he did. He zipped the bag back up when he heard me coming. I pointed that out, and she screamed that I was humiliating him. She demanded I apologize for shaming a child. Before I could respond, my uncle, her brother, stepped in with the energy of a man who's been waiting 20 years for this moment. "Emily," he said flatly, "your kid was stealing. Sit down." She turned bright red, sputtered, and tried to argue that I tempted her son by bringing the console at all. Like I was baiting a wild animal. When she realized no one was defending her, she grabbed her son and made a dramatic exit, yelling, "Don't expect me at any more family events if this is how you treat children." The room stayed silent until the door slammed. Then my cousin muttered, "That sounds like a win." Laughter broke the tension instantly. Even her own siblings rolled their eyes and apologized on her behalf. The best part? As she dragged him out, her son whispered to another kid, "I would have gotten it if he didn't see me." So no, he wasn't confused or boundary challenged. He knew exactly what he was doing. He had the confidence of someone who gets told yes every time he points at something. Later that night, multiple relatives pulled me aside to share their own horror stories. She had once tried to claim a cousin's expensive headphones because kids should explore music. She pressured another relative into giving up a tablet because children need technology to grow. Apparently she even took a decorative candle from someone's house because her son said it smelled nice. She genuinely believes her kid is entitled to anything he sets his eyes on, and she uses guilt like a weapon. My uncle told me she's been like this since childhood. She was the kid who cried until teachers forced other students to hand over their toys. That entitlement didn't fade, it evolved. Now she cries just enough to manipulate people and yells just enough to scare the ones who hesitate. I'm still stunned that saying no, you can't have my brand new console turned into a full meltdown, attempted theft, and a dramatic exit. But honestly, I'm glad it happened. Because now the entire family saw exactly what I've been warning them about. And I'm not the villain in her narrative anymore, she made herself the punchline.